What's good, everyone? Marvel Rivals Hawkeye is the deadliest sniper in the game right now. His fully charged primary fire will one-hit KO a vast majority of heroes if it hits them square in the head. Hawkeye is equipped with other abilities that allow him to be placed into vantage points and to gain quick distance from the enemy team. The bane of Hawkeye's existence would be heroes that take it up close and personal like Iron Fist. But even then, there are ways to outplay these heroes with pure, unadulterated DPS. For Hawkeye main players, and those who just want the best advantage over this hero, stay tuned and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. So do hit that like button because this guide has some killer tips, and do subscribe if you enjoy Marvel Rivals, and of course help the channel reach over 1,000 subs! Let's go! Hawkeye actually has two primary fires. The best one would be in slot 1, also known as Piercing Arrow. It has infinite ammo, meaning that it only has a short delay before the next shot can be taken. Holding the primary fire button down will let Hawkeye charge up his shot, which is called the Archer's Focus, a passive ability available to only Hawkeye. When Piercing Arrow is fully charged, this is where it does the most unscrupulous damage in the entire game. A fully charged arrow will have the most range and arrow speed as well, which makes a single headshot lethal to over 60% of heroes in the game. Hawkeye can alternate his primary fire by cycling into slot 2, which brings out his blast arrows. It has a mag size of 3 arrows that regenerate slowly over time. The damage on these blast arrows do not scale up too well according to how long you charge up your shot. It merely goes further, but with a wider spread as well. I definitely don't recommend using these because the DPS is just way too low and the splash damage range is just far too underwhelming. Even just spamming Piercing Arrow without charging it up would be more effective in teamfights and pushing and damage scaling. Now, the Crescent Slash ability isn't exactly a kill strike or a finishing move in most senses, as it's a single strike that slashes in a horizontal direction directly in front of Hawkeye, which pushes and launches enemies away from you. It's best for gaining distance from melee characters that hopefully displaces them out of bounds for an instant kill as well. It can be pretty good at pushing enemy heroes off of objective points as well. Crescent Slash is also an amazing ability to protect yourself from cheap ganks and sneak attacks. The Hypersonic arrow is but another piece to Hawkeye's arsenal to bombard his enemies with. Landing this arrow makes enemy heroes dread ever getting into the game with you in the first place. It slows them down so much and lets your team pounce on anyone unlucky enough to get struck by your Hypersonic arrow. If all else fails with Hawkeye, your team will be happy that you are spamming this every chance you get. The hitbox on this skill is slightly bigger than your primary fire, so consistently hitting enemies with this should and will be frequent. Hawkeye's Ronin Slash should definitely be mentioned here as it's not much of an active skill but kind of a passive one as well. It's half and half as it's essentially an upgraded form of melee attacks. But Hawkeye's regular melee attacks are so much more practical as it can deflect incoming projectiles. That's right, folks. I have yet to deflect any projectiles myself with it, but just know he has the capability to do so. It makes this hero so much more cool as a Jedi, and of course, each hit does a little more damage than most other heroes' melee. When Hawkeye activates his ultimate ability called Hunter's Sight, it gets super trippy. He will start seeing after images or these blue shadows that trail from enemies. It's a little inconsistent as the after images won't spawn if the enemies are behind cover. Things like Doctor Strange's shield will prevent after images from spawning. But even then, they spawn with an interval of around 0.5 seconds or half a second. In my experience, I still barely see any after images. The plus side of Hawkeye's ultimate is that his primary attack with Piercing Arrows will all have 100% damage and effectiveness against the after images. So it's a good idea to keep shooting and spamming as many arrows as possible onto the after images. Hawkeye's team-up ability with Black Widow allows him to share his ultimate ability with her. Black Widow will start to see after images of enemies in Hawkeye's view. Any damage dealt to the after image will transfer to the actual enemy hero, so don't stop attacking. Now, Marvel Rivals was nice enough to give a bunch of the new heroes the ability to double jump. This serves melee heroes so much better in survivability like Captain America, Black Widow, and Iron Fist. But having a double jump available for Hawkeye is just OP. giving one of the highest range damage heroes the ability to traverse landscapes, find vantage points, and maintain distance is just too good. Skyward Leap has a low cooldown as well, so Hawkeye will just find ways to escape impending doom. Alright, so Hawkeye is a hero who spoils the fun of every other hero. His one-hit KO capability is just far too high and works against roughly 60% of all heroes in Marvel Rivals currently. Even hitting tanks with a fully charged piercing arrow will push them back and give them a big scare. Headshots give the biggest bonus on this hero, and he is equipped with many other abilities that allow him to do so with greater ease. All in all, other players hate to see you on the other side trying to snipe them, but on the flip side, getting that one-hit KO and sniping players down from far away is such a satisfying feeling. Get used to that KO sound in the game, and hoard that endorphin release. I'm definitely going to be making more videos for Marvel Rivals, so do hit that like button if you found this video entertaining or helpful, and please do consider subscribing to the channel so we can grow over 1,000 subs. Thank you, and see you soon.